yourself?
With a bomb.
I mean,
Literally.
it helps me get my groove on.
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen.
This is Boom Radio.
Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Boombar right here on your Boom Radio NG, and we bid you a warm welcome this interesting afternoon.
I say bonjour, welcome.
Morning, we are not in the morning.
Wherever they are, I give you one.
Hey, but you can say bonsoir.
Bonjour.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, about what?
You can say bonsoir. Bonsoir. If it's not bonjour, it's bonsoir.
Homoglobinic expressions.
No, it's amwebi.
Okay.
Do y'all know that the word is not even amoeba?
Okay, what is it?
The word is amoeba.
You see, this is
loud.
No, talking about Koji loud, you don't get it. This is the problem. We have to be in the spirit.
Oh, I don't want such
speak
spirits.
in the realm
I don't want
of
such
the
spirits.
context
I don't want such spirits.
that
I'm
it
not
was used.
interested.
Okay.
The person that we're talking about,
Let us spell it so you can have
Ritabi, or what's his name? Did he say amoeba?
Okay.
The word is amoeba.
Did he say amoeba?
Reported
The word
speech.
is amoeba.
It was a
Reported speech.
The word is
Baba mi,
amoeba.
no.
It was a reported
I'm not
speech.
going to speak bad English.
Well, good English. Anyhow, Sha, this is the Boombar on your Boom Radio NG. Trust me, any amoebic amoeba shall be hemoglobin.
Oh, God.
If you guys are wondering what we're on about, you're about to find out.
Anyway,
it's the Boombar.
It is the Boombar. So there are a few things that we're going to be talking about today. IPOB and Southeast leaders. You know, there's a lot. They definitely had a meeting, and we're going to be talking about what brought about the meeting. This continuous sit at home. It looks like there's going to be another one according to
2
whatever
weeks.
it is. So that there's going to be there's a lot of breakdown on what's happening in the Southeast. That we're going to be talking a lot about. Also, news about 800,000 litre vessel that was found again.
On
Going out of
Ozumba,
Nigeria,
by the way.
and it's very, very
Was it
interesting.
found on Ozumba, by the way, or by Ozumba, by the way?
I don't know.
I be on Ozumba, by the way.
Anyway, so we're going to be talking about that also. Still talking about crude and all, Nigeria's energy, how Nigeria's gas reserves. We're going to be talking about that as well, and what those gas reserves has done for Nigeria, really, in the real sense of it. Anyway, NAFDAC is in the news. One of Nigeria's favorite pastors. Looks like pastors are really very popular these days, with a lot of nonsense, a lot of you are spewing. But we will get to that. And a few other things. There's a bit of stories here and there from petition tribunals and, from a few states. So hopefully we'll be able to get that done before the end of the hour. So sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. Now, the first thing that is basically one of the things that's in the front burner is the Southeast. And let me start from the meeting that the Southeast leaders that had the Southeast governors, that had representatives of the Horanese Indigo, the House of Assembly speakers, and a few stakeholders in
Governors.
the Southeast.
All the governors of the Southeast.
Yeah, and interesting part, that meeting took place in Abuja.
On a Monday.
Or on a Monday.
Was
give
Monday
it,
a sit-at-home too?
it's always a sit-at-home in the
No,
Southeast.
there's no sit-at-home in Abuja.
No. I meant
No,
the
just
left-
wanted to put a bit
I
of
know
context.
what you meant.
Yes.
Tokumbo,
Yeah.
trust me.
It's okay.
That has nothing to do with what you said.
So giving it a bit of context, Abuja is the north central part of Nigeria
And the capital city.
and the capital city. But Southeast leaders felt the need to meet on a Monday
To discuss the problems of
the Southeast. They
In-
had to
in
go
Abuja.
all the way to the north central to discuss that. That alone, doesn't that already show that they have no clue? No. Are you saying no? Sorry. My own no. Why I said so is, are you saying we know the amount of security that goes into governors, that goes with governors, that goes with speakers of houses of assemblies? Are we saying that all the security of these 5 governors was not enough to keep them safe at one meeting on a Monday in any of those Southeast states?
If you ask me, I think they were scared of holding it in the Southeast.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
how is a governor,
Yes.
worst case, 5 governors scared of holding a meeting?
That's part of what we are.
Are
going
you
to discuss
telling?
this
That's what I'm
week,
telling
because
you. Are you saying that you don't-
Yeah, go ahead.
you don't have enough security to keep yourself safe? So
You
if
do.
they can, no, they don't. Obviously, they don't.
Okay.
If you can't, then let people in the Southeast divide themselves to other regions. Because if you cannot keep yourself safe, how do you want to keep people in your state safe?
Well said. I think honestly that look, it's a governor's call, and it's extremely very sad. I'm saddened that governor, with due respect, would you allow your state to be divided or split into splinters?
No, I'm sorry. It's not
Within-
divided
within-
though.
within-
The states
within-
are not
yeah.
divided. The states are being controlled by someone that is in.
I used that deliberately.
Is in Finland.
I used that deliberately. We're coming to Finland. You're jumping 10 steps. We're coming to Finland. What I'm even saying now is that on the local base, how would the governor, okay, be in charge of a state? And there are counter directives to the people. Directive 1, sit at home. I grew up to know that such pronouncements are either from the president or from a governor. Governor was going to advise you, now this is what is happening, there will be a fresh broadcast. But every time, this broadcast doesn't come, it doesn't come from the Southeast. It comes from that area you just mentioned, which is another topic for us to discuss. But a governor must not go sleeping. There is something wrong somewhere. Oga Governor, you cannot be in charge. You cannot actually tell the people what to do, and they will they will line up behind you and do it. I think we are taking a lot of this people's burden on their behalf, and it's not right and it's not fair. It's divisive. It's not real for me. A governor's got to step out, and it was on these programs also some time ago. If you recall, let me put you back, that we advised the Southeast leaders. We advised them to please don't sit with their arms folded. Something back at home is spewing, you have to be in charge. You can't expect Lagosians, people from Lagos or Ibadan, Ondo, whatever, other parts to come and solve these problems for you. It's your territory, it's your domain. And I'm glad they actually, okay, let's come together and do it. They chose a neutral ground. Maybe because it's next to the president's room. I don't know. But here, Oga Governor, there's something really, really wrong. We need a deliberate attempt. Nobody should be hiding under one finger again. Please, let's talk. Let's talk.
Testing microphone. Nigeria is in a place where we need to speak the truth to power, also speak the truth to ourselves. And, Tokunbo has spoken his mind, very on point. Tolupo has also spoken part of our mind.
Okay. Thank God she said part of my mind. Because, okay. I will just be quiet. For now.
I want to weigh in here. We keep talking about how we want people to take ownership of this struggle. And there are parallels that you can draw. You can compare things, right? But the real thing is that the federal government is in charge of the entire country.
Yeah.
But the state governors are also in charge of their states. They are the chief security officers of their state. Now, there's a struggle. And before IPOB, there was MASOB. Before MASOB, there were other, talks about Biafra, the southeastern part of Nigeria. There's been this agitation. Even it led to the civil war, the Nigerian civil war that lasted about 30 months in the late 60s. Very touchy matter. People don't like to discuss it. They can take it out of context. But I pray that whenever anybody watches this video, you listen to each and every one of us based on the facts and don't distort it. So there was a war, and the war ended, and of course, they said no victor, no vanquished.
Yeah.
On both sides, is that the real scenario? Has Nigeria really moved on from the civil war? Looks like we have run a full circle and we're back where we were before. But there's this serious agitation. They're talking about a referendum and how there's going to be civil unrest. I took my time on Sunday to watch the interview that Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, he granted the Daily Momodu an interview. It was 1 hour plus. I watched it on Sunday. I took my time to watch it. I heard everything it was saying. I got a clearer, vision of what they're trying to achieve. Like for instance, Nnamdi Kanu says that he was born with a Biafran, what's that thing that they give people when they are born?
Yeah.
Birth certificate.
Cloak, yeah.
So he doesn't see himself as a Nigerian. So they said, but you use a Nigerian passport. He said, yeah, it's just for moving around. And he also has dual citizenship. He went to school in the UK and all of that. Wait, don't read. Wait.
Okay. No, we'll just be quiet.
Wait, please be quiet for a second. Just a second.
So why did he get a Nigerian passport?
It's just for this period.
That is so hypocritical.
Okay. So now, why have I gone through all of this historical background that I'm trying to lay is that we understand the context of IPOB, MASOB, and the agitation for the Southeast. Sadly, the Nigerian constitution does not capture these things. There must be a way around it. Do the people of the Southeast really want to leave Nigeria? Or is IPOB speaking for a small bloc? That's one. Two, there's a call by even lawyers, lawyers that are senior advocates of Nigeria.
These lawyers are better governors.
Leave the governors alone. Governors are politicians. The lawyers know the constitution. And they're telling the government, let someone who is being, charged for treason and other things go.
The funny thing is that...
So, sorry, Ma Binu, I get, but I just want to lay this background. Then we can, talk more. I'm not trying to say that when you listen to this lawyer's talk and everything, and everybody's talking about negotiation and everything, I said to myself, really and truly, is this what the people of the Southeast want? Now, to actualize the release, now not just even the need to get their own country, to actualize the release of the leader of the IPOB movement, another leader has emerged. A few months ago, he announced his cabinet, calls himself the prime minister and everything. Nobody said anything about it. Now, he called a 1 week sit at home, gave them Thursday to go out to the market and come back, told them they could go to church on Sunday because the sit at home resumes on Monday, which was yesterday. After all said and done, a serving senator, decided to take, the powers into his own hands, empower his people, work with the state security arrangement that they have, and they did a show of force. One, I am worried about the proliferation of weapons. But let's put that aside. So they went around and did all of that. And yesterday, on Sunday, they actually got some of the people who have been forcing people to stay at home.
They arrested a few people.
Oh, yeah, they did. So, please indulge me for another 30 seconds. After everything I've said, then the person who called the sit-at-home, who lives in Finland, said that there's going to be a 2-week sit-at-home. I'm trying to quote him. I'm not going to quote him verbatim. I'll paraphrase. And he says there's going to be another 2 weeks. If by today, which is today that the thing ended, that they do not release the leader of the movement, which is Nnamdi Kanu, that he is going to call for a 2 weeks now. He's extending it by 2 weeks, and that it's going to hurt the Nigerian economy, by asking the people in the southeast to sit at home.
The Prime Minister away.
Yeah, that's Simon Ekpa, that's his name.
Okay.
Now, but if you look at it, how true are these claims? How well is the sit-at-home affecting Nigeria? Is it affecting the entire country or just the same people that you are fighting for? So, I felt that the meeting that they had yesterday in Abuja was very necessary, but it would have been a better and impactful meeting if it was held in the southeast. Because remember that the senator that I'm referring to, the owner of Capital Oil, Ifeanyi Ubah, Abi, that's his name now. He went to his own senatorial district.
My question is, what happened to the remaining
to fight
senators?
it. There are 3 senators
What
in that
happened
state.
to the governor?
Then you now want to have a meeting and you go to Abuja
That's
on
actually
Monday
a joke,
when there's
right?
a sit at home. So I like that you held that
The fact
meeting.
that you had a meeting in the
But
southeast on a Monday
shouldn't
is
you
enough
have
show of
stayed
force.
back somewhere in the
That
southeast?
does not even make any sense.
This is my take,
Who gives
and I'm worried.
for me, who gives these people this advice? Like, who advises them? I don't know. Okay.
Where's that coming from? Sorry. Okay.
There's a problem with me.
Yeah, I think it was
It's
it's
done.
fine.
It's
Yeah, turn it off,
fixed.
turn it off.
It's fixed already.
It's
It's
fixed already.
fixed.
It's going back again. It's fine now. Yeah.
So basically, okay, there's a reason why you removed your headphones.
Yes, please carry on.
Okay, so basically, at times you wonder, like, who advises these people? How did you think it was a smart thing to do this so-called meeting in Abuja? And then what is the point? You come back from this meeting and you're asking the federal government, what have you done for your people? I remember a few months down the line when there was a time that the army had really moved in to the southeast. And I remember there was a lot of hue and cry from the
About
southeasterners.
the presence of the military.
Yes, that they were killing their people and this and that and that. And after that issue, there was almost like a systemic withdrawal of the Nigerian army from the southeast. So the first question is that, do these people really, really want to change? Do these people really want peace? Because, see, let's even remove security agencies. Are we saying, let's take Lagos for example. Let's think of popular markets. Lagos Island Market, Mile 12, the Ketu Fruit Market, marketing.
The major markets.
Major markets.
Yeah.
You tell them that every Monday they should not come out.
Yeah.
Or you tell them that for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or would we go to Ibadan and tell people in Gbagi Market that for 2 weeks, you're not opening this market? Or you tell them in Bodija, how do you want to pull it off?
The first question you ask me, who is your father?
How do you want to pull it
Who
off?
is your father? Who sent you?
Because I think that it will get to a time
Great point.
where if the people themselves do not decide to stamp this nonsense out, the sad part with that is that it might now cause a lot of
There will be anarchy.
I won't say anarchy.
There
That's the
would be
word.
anarchy.
That will cause anarchy.
There would be.
But the honest truth is that it still goes back to the federal government. The federal government needs to put a stop to it, because if we're not careful, we're looking at another issue of terrorism all over again. They are already proscribed. So why are we having a conversation around them? That's number one. I really honestly feel that if the governors really want some things done, I feel that a lot of things that the governors we're not seeing a lot from the federal government is because of the
Do you think they're
body
afraid?
language. No,
Do you think they're
no,
afraid?
the body language. The federal
Where-
government
where
is
is
not
the
being
body
involved,
language coming from?
but the body language of the governors. Why I said body language of the governors is that
Yeah.
I'm not. If I'm wrong, a part of me, because if we go from the
Yeah, your
governors,
opinion, yes.
yeah, if we go from the governors to the political leaders, to the celebrities, nobody
Nobody. We said it here
is
before.
saying anything about
Nobody.
it.
Everybody's just keeping quiet.
So, what does that tell me? It either tells me, like you said, they must be really afraid of these people,
There's something going on. I don't
or
know.
they want the Biafra. Why is it that? Let's break
You know-
it down.
you
How
know-
is it
you know
that
this Biafra
someone
thing?
like a presidential candidate, someone as popular as Peter Obi, has not for once come out to condemn this thing? We saw how children were being beaten last week. We saw how people were being shot at. There were vivid, gory
that guy on the
videos.
Okada, was he the guy on the Okada?
Yeah,
that was
there were
brought down?
gory videos.
It was brought down.
Up until today, the Labour Party presidential candidate,
Sorry, guys.
in the name of Peter Obi, has not come out for once to condemn this dastardly act.
You know why I don't want us to stay alone with
Because I really feel we see people like, take for example,
yeah.
the former Minister of Education, Obieze Kwesili. She has an opinion about everything and anybody else. She knew when it was time that was Mesoma's case. What's it called? There's something to say about it. The things that they are demolishing in Kano, she has an opinion. This is happening. The houses that they are demolishing in Lagos State is against this and is against that. These since last week that we've seen a lot of
Everybody
gory
keeps
things.
mum. Everybody's
they are
gone silent.
conveniently mum.
Yeah, everybody's gone silent.
And a part of me seems, you know what? It's like they actually want it. Because if not, it does not make any sense.
I'm worried.
It does not make any sense. And then these so-called Biafra or IPOB people in the first place. How is it that you are fighting for a certain kind of people, but they are the same people you are killing? It's the same people you are maiming. It's the same people that you are killing their economy, that they don't have food to eat. They can't go out. They can't do anything.
Okay.
If by some streak of luck you are given this so-called Biafra, what is left when you've already destroyed everything? You destroy government property. You destroy the economy. You destroy roads. You destroy people's morale. What is left? What honestly is left? And then the next thing you see governors, I was highly appalled. The very first time I thought Governor Soludo was a technocrat that came off as someone that was very, and then he was talking about the release of Nnamdi Kanu, and I'm like, what?
No,
Are you joking?
You know something, Dolopo. Everybody's got a face where you hit the wall. There's a wall in front of you. You're facing from an oblique angle. The other person is facing from another angle. But for me, I think, just as we started off today, that if there is no leadership, if leadership is not felt among the rank and file in society, everybody does whatever he or she wants to do.
Yeah.
Leadership is the voice. Leadership controls the mind of the people.
Yeah.
Leadership decides the fate of the people, whether we like it or not. Now, if leadership, under your leadership, is being brought to question, because
Well, go and
every
resign.
governor in that region, absolutely,
Go and resign.
then if you're not going to resign, please take a walk from the state house or governor's house, yeah, shift
Tokumbo.
off and let them
Let
take
other
over.
people- let-
Tokumbo.
Because now, yes,
And
you
Dolupo.
are actually going to do this. If you're not going to do this, then you have to act fast. You can't keep quiet all the while.
Tokubo and Dolupo, I'm going to read a tweet from Festus Keyamo, senior advocate of Nigeria. Of course, we know he's a member of the APC, but this is not it. I'm going to read a tweet from him, and he posted this at 1 o'clock today, 3 minutes past 1.
Okay.
I'm going to read just a part of it. He says, I think it is time to call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
The simple reason the elites in the southeast are finding it difficult to speak out against those killing and dehumanizing their own people in the east is the fear of reprisal attacks against their own properties and family members back home by this unknown gunmen in quote. I have spoken to my friends privately. This is Keyamo speaking.
Okay.
And they have admitted this much. Let's not put unnecessary pressure on these elites. It's a difficult situation for them. Their silence does not mean support for what is happening there. It is the responsibility of the federal government to restore law and order in all parts of the country, and this, I am absolutely certain, the government at official Abat, which is Bola Tinubu, will do. Besides, we cannot isolate a region and its elites in a country where we see ourselves as one. It is our collective responsibility to assist the federal government in restoring order nationwide. This is Festus Keyamo, a legal luminary, member of the Nigerian ruling party, speaking.
You know what I say to that?
Yes.
It's a long tennis approach.
Okay.
Long tennis approach. I hit you the ball, Shala. You hit back at me. For every time you hit back, passing it back to me is your turf. Okay? Take control of it. They are throwing the bat back to the federal government. I like that. No problem. It also shows to me that at least somebody said something.
Well, are they even ready?
Now,
You
speaking-
guys in the Southeast, are they ready?
somebody
Speaking
said
about-
something. And because
speaking
they had
about-
said something to me,
Yeah,
and
carry on,
in my mind, right, we're still on the right path. However, it has not solved this problem. The man speaking as prime minister from the diaspora, something has to be done. People are listening to him.
So speaking about
people
speaking
here
about
would not
speaking
listen
about
to their
them
governor. They won't
passing the
listen to a
buck
governor.
to the federal government, speaking about the things that Dodupa has also pointed out and all of that, yeah? In essence, what we're saying now is that the federal government should get involved. And they have resolved. That's Ohanes Indigbo, under the leadership of Chief Nwanyang and the southeastern stakeholders, the governors, the elite, as in quote, that Keyamo spoke about, that they want to have a meeting with the president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes.
That's what they want to do. They want to have a meeting with him. And I've always said one thing, and I think it's happening. The people of the region also must speak.
Yeah.
If you check out the news agency of Nigeria, there's a report that they did. I think the Vanguard and a couple of other newspapers have carried it. The people in Enugu, for instance, are crying out.
Yeah, I saw that today. That they're done.
It's there.
It is
They're
really
crying out.
You
They are
must be able to say,
They are crying out.
we don't want this thing anymore.
Now,
See,
if IPOB thinks, that's Simon Ekpa and the rest of them, if you think you're hurting the Nigerian economy, you're not.
not.
It is your own people, the people who you claim to be fighting for.
That you're hurting. And
You know?
and it brings me, so I'm sorry, if this will take me back to politics. How, I get it that people are scared of the elites and they're scared of a lot of things. But how is it that you cannot even condemn something happening in your region, and then you come and tell me that you want to be my president, and then you're going to secure Nigeria?
I can excuse that one.
Why are you reading my mind?
I can excuse that one.
Okay.
Make it make sense.
I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm just saying I can excuse you for now.
Okay.
The one that I want to speak to is a video that has gone viral. A young Igbo lady, very, very, very interesting.
Oh,
girl,
yeah.
who has called out all the people
Everybody.
that were vocal
Everybody.
during the campaign period.
Yes.
You know, we have people who have big platforms. You know, look at us,
Yes.
Boom Radio. I know we're going to get there, but there are people who have bigger platforms. And some of them are individuals. Some of them are even, they're journalists. And they went to town, always calling out the government of Buhari, and even the other people who were contesting that time. And they're suddenly gone
They're
quiet.
suddenly quiet. You have an opinion
she
about
mentioned-
everybody
What
else.
happened to their pens?
It's dry. Their pens went dry, and
That's my own. If you're not going to say, don't say anything about anybody. But you have an opinion about everybody else other than your own.
of the goose and the gander.
No.
Whatever you think is good for the
Goose
goose,
is good for the
it's
gander.
good for the gander.
Absolutely.
Let us stop being hypocritical. Let us stop it. And if you think that there's something wrong with Lagos, speak. Complain about Lagos. But do the same for Ogun, Osun, Anambra.
But you cannot come and say
Imo,
that. See,
Kano.
let's be honest with ourselves. The federal government said federal government this. You know that the issue of the Yoruba nation thing. You imagine if the governors of the Southwest did not put a stop to it and did not nip it in the bud when it did. Did not say when you were going to, when you want to do what's it called in Ojota, that the police had said this protest or whatever is not even happening in the first place.
And immediately,
That when they went all
yes.
the way to where they were even going to camp
Yeah.
to arrest them.
Fantastic.
That's what I'm saying. As much as yes, the
Thank
federal
you.
government needs to
Thank
do
you,
this,
Jolukwo, for
but
bringing that up.
some governors
How?
decided to nip it in the
Thank
bud.
you.
The-
How did
Jolukwo,
we? How did
I
we?
totally-
How did we? How did we?
I totally
quell
disagree with
the security
with the
in the
entire
Why?
presentation that Jolukwo has made,
Why?
because it's partially correct. It was only Lagos that kicked. Only Lagos. They had all these rallies in all the
other
southwest
states, They did
When they tried to do it in Lagos,
Yeah.
Lagos shut it down.
And that, in fact, applied to other states. It affected
But
the other
please, sir,
states.
I just it's a fact.
No, true. It affected. No, you're right.
It did.
for correcting
But
that.
immediately
It
after
affected-
Lagos
correct-
did,
yes, everybody.
everybody else decided, okay, it was time this thing
Have
has
you
to
guys
stop.
wondered how did we quell these insecurity issues in the north? What really happened?
It's not completely gone.
But now, you know, it was the tempo was high before.
Oh, I think it's
Really,
to be
before?
honest,
What
I
happened?
think that there's a lot of kudos to the army, to
There's
the
a
Nigerian army.
multi-pronged
Is
approach.
a federal government more of
Pronged approach.
yes.
Okay, fine. There is
federal- the
security
states-
problem in the southeast at the
Yeah.
moment.
The civilian JTF is playing a major
There
part
is.
But
in the north.
there's a lot that the governors take, for example,
we have
the
to do
governors, a lot of these governors are even paying,
So guess what?
they're funding some of these
Guess
things.
what? I let it ride, but again, someone had pointed it out. This is not my original idea. I like to give people credit. Can't remember the guy that tweeted it though. And he talked about how when IPOB started all these agitations, they took it to Rivers State.
Yes, they did.
Governor
And
Yenson
it was
Wike,
shut down.
then governor, shut it down.
What did he do to shut it down?
Shut it down.
There was a lot of hue and cry,
What did
and
he do?
they're trying to kill.
What did he do? I mean,
Shut
let's
it
learn
down.
from what he
Oh,
did.
he shut it down.
Shut
Then
it down.
he shut it down.
He shut it down.
He
Shut
shut
it
it
So,
down.
Oga Governor, if you are listening, is it possible
Let
to
to shut it
this
down.
He didn't.
He didn't let it fester.
And he wanted the army, and the army supported him.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Shut it down. Let's talk about it. Now, this is my opinion. If the people of the Southeast really want to leave Nigeria, let's talk about it.
You're going about this
But
idea
please.
to leave.
No, I'm serious. If it's a consensus,
It can be a consensus.
Why can't
you
it
can't.
be?
Talk
It
about, you
can
can't say
be.
that.
Oh, let me say more like the majority. If the
the
majority
majority-
wants to
Remember
go,
We have not
Brexit.
carried out we have not carried a referendum to that.
Okay, so there's no
haven't.
provision in the constitution.
That's the problem. But maybe just maybe
Talk
they
about- you
want
see
to-
what-
Provision in the constitution that stands at what? That you cannot go when you want to go.
You cannot even have this
can't.
discussion.
You can't have that discussion.
This discussion we are having,
Yes.
we cannot have it.
You can't have a
Definitely leave it out, but we can talk about what the impact of this.
Exactly,
Of this
so
thing
this is
what we're
is
saying.
taking
So
us.
this is the point-
toll is taking us.
So this is the point
You
I
know?
was trying to make. And that's the point I'm still trying to make.
Wow.
That's the point I'm still trying to make. If the people of the Southeast, the majority of the people of the Southeast, really want a country that is theirs, then we have to sit down and talk about it.
Okay, so I want to read a tweet from Redmond Mokri. So now, he is taking this from a different angle. Funny thing is that lately, he's actually been tweeting a lot of very interesting things. But anyway, the tweet goes as this. When Abiola was in jail, the Yorubas did not destroy the region to force Abacha to release MKO Abiola. Rather, they used diplomacy to turn Abacha into a international pariah until Abacha was forced to offer Abiola bail, which Abiola ultimately refused. Mohamed Abacha was in prison for 3 years. How was he released? Kano elders sought an audience with Obasanjo in 2002 and publicly prostrated to him. The next month, the court freed Mohammed. Asari Dokubo was in prison for treason for 2 years until the Niger Delta elders used diplomacy to get President Yar'Adua to release him in 2007. What militancy could not do, diplomacy did. I cannot imagine any truly intelligent person saying until you release our son, we'll keep destroying our region. Who loses? Fight intelligently, not forcefully. You are cutting your nose and thinking you are spiting those in power. And anybody cannot cancel you guys. It is either you know better than those who want to cancel you or start to lecture them, or you insult them. The Yorubas use diplomacy as leverage. Kano people used it too. The Niger Delta used it too. You too use it. It will serve you better than this self-path of self-destruction. No government can give in to force. The minute they do, they're finished. Because others will smell the weakness and engage in their own violence.
I think that's very insightful.
It's a very insightful piece.
Even though I don't agree with everything that Reno has written, the bulk of what he has written is very sensible and very, very interesting. And it's actually worth discussing.
I take my cue.
The sad part about this is that we're not done with this discussion, but we have other discussions.
Shall I know? This is the main discussion for me.
We have so many.
Because this is I agree with you. I do agree with you.
I know.
We can move on. But for me, that's you read of Reno is a QED for me for now. Fantastic for me for now.
Anyway, let's move on from that and let's move on to the South. Very, very no, this is not even the South. Well, yeah, kind of the South, yeah. And this is a story that broke yesterday about how 800,000 liters of
A sheep.
A sheep was actually found in Nigerian waters
Arrested.
and it was arrested. Now they're talking about the NNPCL wanting to
They want to destroy
the sheep.
They want to destroy this tanker, this ship, and all of that.
It's a good news.
There are a lot of questions
Look, for me,
that this actually comes up with. It might not be so much of a good news.
No, for me, that was intercepted. Who intercepted it? Who are those who did it? That's what I'm trying to say. Look, we come back to they are going to destroy the ship. We talk about that one now or later. But this one is that the ship was on its way. It's been stolen already now. It was stolen. The goods have been stolen.
Yeah.
And it's floating off. And it was intercepted. For me.
By a private company.
By a private company.
Private security company.
By a private security company. Shola.
That's it.
That for me.
Now, the talking point for us, for Tokumbo, for me, for Dolukbo, and I make bold to say this, is in referencing the statements that were made by Mujahid Asari Dokubo a couple of days ago, barely 2 weeks ago, when he was at Asorok, and he actually made a sweeping. I don't support sweeping statements, but he alleged that the military was culpable, talking about the Navy in particular, and how the oil theft was something that they were partaking of or being part of. Now, for me, I feel really and truly that he shouldn't have made a sweeping statement. He should have just zeroed in and said the ones that are posted to that area, we find them. But you see, again, for someone like that who is into private security, who used to be a militant, who has a security network and information gathering systems in place, they know what's going on with their neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now, Tompolo or any of the people who are now involved with security, we all know that they were more of militants before they became private security firms. But they have been the ones that have had all the positive news when it comes to oil theft in Nigeria in the last 6 to 7 months, ever since they've been contracted. We remember the pipeline that was discovered to have double taps. You know,
Yeah.
done
yeah.
professionally.
Yes.
Oh,
It was
professionally.
Tompolo's people that
the,
discovered it.
the um
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
different
True.
refineries, illegal refineries.
It was
Illegal
Tompolo's
refineries.
people. The one that they found in Bayelsa,
Yeah.
it was Tompolo's people that found it. This one off the coast of Ondo in Nigeria was Tompolo's people. The other ship that was destroyed a couple of months ago. So it brings to question one thing, and I'm going to say it. I respect and support the military a lot because what they do, we can't do.
Yeah.
But this is not a sweeping statement on the entire Nigerian military or the Navy or NIMASA that has now been fully equipped by the former President Buhari's government. But I know that they have a system in place now that they monitor the pipelines and Nigeria's coastal waters. And you know the funny thing? Our waterways used to be the most dangerous.
Yeah.
And the last 1 year, not a single pirate attack in Nigeria. So if you're able to prevent pirate attacks, why are you not able to prevent this huge
Ships from going out.
coming to take crude?
Good talk, Shola. Good talk.
This is the question.
Good talk, yes.
This
Good
is
talk.
the question. So the Navy has to look inwards and they must bring people to book. Because why is it a private company that's solving these problems? Does it not negate
It's
your
an indictment
your
on them.
entire
Yeah,
mandate?
mandate, yes, exactly.
That's what I have to say.
Yeah, it's
You have more or
it's
less
an
vindicated
indictment.
Asari Dokubo.
Absolutely. And the fact that government will be using private security
They will literally be
agents,
paying
yeah, they will be paying
all-
for that.
for
of
something
course. They will
that
be paying
you're
for-
kind
they
of
will be
already been
paying
paid for.
that.
So
They
the
will be
question
paying for
here,
that.
Was Asari Dokubo right?
Right.
In the first place, yes.
Who can answer this one?
I don't know.
Boom radio, you don't come again. I don't understand this one.
I don't know.
What do
I
we
don't
know?
understand
Anyway,
this one.
still talking about
Let this small picking know
Nigeria's
now.
energy. Nigeria now currently accounts for 33% of the total
Do we have
gas
time for
reserves.
amoeba?
Please, we still have time.
You sure?
Nigeria
'Cause I'm waiting
currently
for Amoeba.
accounts for 33% of total gas reserves
Great
in Africa.
news. Great news.
It's not, I don't think it's so much of a great news. Why is said
Great
so is
news.
so they're saying that the gas reserves that Nigeria has can last for at least 94 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
plus or minus 94.
Yeah.
So my issue is why I said it's not great news is
Mm.
how do we have this much gas? Meaning that we've always had this much gas.
We've been flying gas for
It doesn't make any
1950.
sense.
I'm not saying that.
It's
no,
never
I'm
made
not-
sense
I'm not
now.
applauding
Remember
that.
we had this discussion a few days
exactly.
ago.
Yeah, that's why I
Yes,
said that
Shola.
it's not good news
And-
to me. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Okay,
There's
so-
nothing good about it if it's
Okay.
not working
The good
for
news,
us.
the good news about it is that we have moved from
We have a
the
capacity
country
now.
that didn't know what to do with
With it.
its gas to knowing what it wants to do with its gas.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
the good news.
Absolutely.
Do you understand?
And there's some
That's-
there is an what do you call that? There's a deliberate attempt to make sure we stay on the gas and with the gas and protect what we have. Before, nobody really cared. Nobody cared. You know, this I understand where your thoughts are really coming from, your fears are coming from. But for me, I look back at that from the 1950. When did we discover this thing? 1958, Louis Berry or something. Yes, I remember. And right from that, we have been flaring it. Even in my chemistry class, I remember as a toddler, we were told that we had gas, but we keep on flaring this gas. I will never forget those classes. But here we are taking advantage, we are seizing the moment. The moment we should have actually seized years ago to look up. I agree. It's rather painful, very painful. But as it's always say, the longest journey begins with one step.
Talking about gas,
yeah.
talking about gas and everything, we had this discussion off air. I'm bringing it here now. And a company called Greenville LNG, you know, has announced that in partnership with the NNPCL, they have achieved, you know, a successful and unscheduled installation of the LNG tank. Now, so there's the Maiduguri Emergency Gas Power Plant in Borno State. And that power plant can generate about 50 megawatts of power, you know, for the national grid or for Borno.
Okay.
But what it basically means is
Yeah.
that it was launched by, what it means is that there's going to be power for people of Borno. It was launched by the former president, but then it had its a few weeks ago. It had its diesel component. Now the gas component, which will require gas, since we're talking about gas, has now been fully installed. And we have plenty gas. We have the tank. We have the system. So the people of Borno should start enjoying at least that 50 megawatts. Now with the new law that was signed by the President Buhari, but fully signed by Bola Tinubu, the upgraded version of it, they're going to have power, regular power, constant power in Borno and all of that. This is one of the advantages of keying into the gas system. You understand? And we all need to start looking inwards about that. So a big shout out to Greenville LNG, the NNPCL, and the Maiduguri gas power plant.
Okay, so now moving on from that, there are two discussions. It looks like there's a story that I was just brushing over earlier. Now the story seems to be a big thing. Now everybody's talking about it. But before we get to that, SR's friend seems to know what causes fibroids and has a public service announcent for all of you that what's the word now?
Who is
that
SR?
have organisms.
Who is SR? Are you referring to me?
Yeah.
No, because the world doesn't know. Who are you referring to as SR?
You. Yeah, what many
And-
SRs?
And in this damning,
Shola Rogers,
head-shaking, dissipating information, you attach this disgusting human being to me.
So, it's really not fair.
Let's be real here.
It's not fair.
In this
because you look more.
this video,
let's
these
talk
videos
about
are going to
what happened
outlive me, Tokumbo, and this bald-headed woman here.
I'm not bald.
Well, you don't have hair.
I do.
You don't have hair like women. So
Lots of it.
you see, let's be real here.
No.
Now let me help I rephrase, because I'm not going to take it personal. There is a certain God of Now church somewhere in Nigeria, and they have a prophet Ritabi or Ratabi. She will confirm. She will confirm it as we go forward.
Ritabi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were here in the studio, me and Tokumbo, preparing for good Boom Ninja Classics, which actually comes up every time you listen Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 10:15 after the news. Please tune in. Tokumbo or myself will be on. But let's leave market and talk about it. And Tolupo rushes in like a house on fire, like, oh, what's going on? And she showed us this video. A pastor calls himself a prophet, broadcasting to the world on all social media platforms and also on YouTube, talking about fibroids. Yeah. As an African man who has come in contact, men don't worry, but I have come in close contact with fibroids. People that I love and know, I've survived it, I've experienced it, are still experiencing it, some are.
Yeah.
And I support them, I stand with them. Then a pastor takes to the pulpit and starts to explain to everybody in the world that it has to do with promiscuity.
Yeah.
It has to
That's
do with
how women get fibroids.
that women get fibroids because they're sleeping around.
And
He went as far as talking about amoeba. Oh yeah, correct me.
amoeba.
That one that she said. But the guy did not say amoeba. The guy said amoeba.
How
Agreed.
something
He talked about-
Agreed, Shola, let's move on from that.
I'm not moving.
From
He
amoeba.
talked about. He talked about. He talked about.
Come on, go, please.
About.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to say photosynthesis.
He talked about neutrons and protons
Come on,
and spermatozoa and everything. One of the dumbest things I've ever heard
It's the confidence for me.
is how someone comes to address an entire church and is telling them that a woman would harbor sperm
for 7 years.
for 7 years.
I honestly think that this is kind of video the Nigerian Medical Association needs to come out to debunk.
When are they going to
We
talk?
call them out.
They need to debunk.
We call the enemy
Nigeria
out now in
medical
Nigeria.
we they
You
call una
cannot, you
Yeah.
cannot,
not be only strike una suppose
because
they do.
see, this is how
You
a
go
lot
check-
of
go
women
and check that thing
are
out.
probably
It's
going
online.
to
They are
get.
talking about women. What about young ladies
Young
who
ladies.
their parents will now say, "Oh,
That's
the
why-
pastor said this is what was
that's what I'm
happening."
saying.
Yes.
That people that
It's
they
a
really
gory
need
thing.
proper
Church.
medical attention, but because of some retarded human being I'm sorry, because for you to say those things, you have to be retarded. For you to confidently say those things, it is ridiculous.
Now,
Please.
fibroids have had their way of truncating people's lives. I had a friend whose wife sadly died.
People, these are
And
serious issues.
To now have, listen, someone who loved his wife so much, they had 2 children. Then she died because of the surgery for fibroids. He's now watching a video of a
and
pastor
then you're now saying
that
it's
it was
promiscuity that now led to, oh my God, come on.
And I knew him and I knew his wife.
Do you know
Please.
what pained me? What really affected me was the graphic way he was
going off.
describing-
It was going
And he's
off
standing
about
in
it.
his church.
So-
Then all the congregation are also standing. Tokumbo, continue.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on.
Move,
from
Guinea.
that. Yes, we're moving. Please,
Okay,
don't
before
have
we
a lot of
move,
time.
before
don't
we
have a
move,
lot of
before
time.
we move,
We have a lot
the
to-
Nigerian Medical Association, Medical
Yeah, but
Council,
we already said.
MD,
Oh yeah, I said it again.
respect yourself. Do not take this lightly.
No.
Do not keep
ridiculous.
quiet about this matter.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
This is disinformation that can cause the death of more lives and break many relationships.
It is.
How long are we going to allow people to just get
Disinformation.
behind the microphone and cause
Disinformation.
problems?
And they just cause
Bad
problems.
information.
I'm talking about information. Yeah, I saw news earlier. I just saw it randomly, and now it looks like it's on a lot of blogs and a lot of online papers where there's a story from Bayelsa State where it was said that a particular UI first class graduate was beaten to death for stealing bread. So when I first saw it, it was a very sad story, yeah. And then they're saying that People's FM in Yenagua was one that announced it, that he was killed in the early hours of Sunday because he was hungry and he was stole bread and blah 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 blah. And then one thing that caught my attention was that according to the radio station, they're saying that this person studied business administration. I'm not sure it is so bad, yeah, before we even get to nitty-gritty, that a first-class graduate, let me the little that I know, even if it's possible not to have gotten a job yet, yeah, but the little I know, you are literally offered full scholarship to read masters in UI once you have first class.
Okay.
So it is, which a lot of people that I know take up the offer. It is, they say you should come and do something for free instead of, you actually, like, a lot of them actually take up the offer, yeah. So I find that I already found that story funny. Next thing they say is that this person is a first class graduate of business administration, except maybe today
At which university?
at University of Ibadan.
Okay.
Except maybe they opened a school of business today, an undergraduate school of business today. The last I checked, UI did not have an undergraduate course with business administration, banking and finance, accounting. They don't have those kind of things. And this is where my issue comes with when people report things. When do we actually report things correctly? Because the minute I saw that, a lot of people will not know, like, but I already feel there's already something fishy about this story because some of the information there is absolutely wrong.
All right. So that's it. UI graduate has set the records straight. We non-UI people, we say nothing about it.
Anyway, let's move on from that quickly.
No, but I must commend your value of research, by the way, because what you're bringing up is not only about this story.
Yeah.
People write ridiculous
You
things.
just write
and
ridiculous
put
things all in the name of,
terrible information outside.
put it out there.
Yes, you do. You always
Now,
do.
kudos to the FAN, that's the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. I think we're talking about airports and it's time people maybe need to start getting sanctioned. Then
What's the
maybe
kudos, really?
now the problem here is that airfield lighting systems were recently reinstated at the domestic runway of the Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos. And all of a sudden, very recently, is nowhere to be found.
They stole them.
Yeah.
So recently is that in November 2022, the runways were fixed, 2.7 kilometer runway, fixed. Everything was put in place, and because they shut down for a few weeks to put some other things in place, the lights on the runway were stolen, and they are saying now that members of their own staff and some criminals are. But let me say this. Fan is just plain drama. I like that they have done this, but it's drama to me. You know why? Let me tell you. Where's my camera? Please tell me. Where's my camera? I want to face my camera. This one. Fan, you are playing drama. You know why you're playing drama? When I come to the airport for legitimate business, you put me in a terrible place. You tell me where to park. If I park one kind, you tow my car. It's difficult to gain access to the international airport in Lagos and any other airport. How are there people stealing your stuff? You are culpable. You have an airport in 2023 that does not have motion detectors and laser detectors and CCTV cameras working 24 hours around the clock, monitored. Though. It's not just to put camera, because you see some people put camera to show that they have bought a mini plot of land inside their estate close to where I live. I'm not saying anything. But when you install camera at airports, it has to be monitored 24 hours around the clock. Pay somebody to monitor it. Are you saying that your runway can be penetrated? What that means is that even terrorists and other criminals can do it. You have failed. You failed.
Yeah.
Everybody in France should resign.
Okay.
It's not just to tell people that you are suspending people.
Yeah. But you see, the rate at which we deal with government property or public property shocks me. Yesterday we talked about removing railings and manhole covers all over Lagos and in Nigeria generally. And my question is this: why are we like this? Why are we like this? Okay, they stole those things up. Do we have a private? Where are they going to? Who's going to buy them? Where are they going to sell those things?
No. You can't be asking where they're going to buy them.
No, let me just hold.
You're going back, sir.
No, I'm not going back.
There's a market for them.
There will be a market for it. We target the market. We target the market at the end of the day. These guys must not go. They can't tell me they disappeared.
This is the same country.
Tell me
This is before she moves and Toguma moves. This is the same country that people have been stealing railway sleepers. Do you understand? Like they go and sabotage the rail because they want to sell the metal there. They go, and that rail is supposed to make life easy for all of us.
It's even interesting because for me, at the end of the day, if there's no market for it, they will not be selling
This is the same country where they are stealing manholes. This is the same country where they are stealing railings from bridges and ramps. This is the same country where they are stealing lights from the runway. Now think about it. All of these things that they are doing, who is going to suffer it?
You and I.
Continue.
Anyway, quickly, we know that President Tinubu has sent a letter to the Senate for confirmation of service chiefs. He did that to the House of Reps a few days ago. And quickly, before we go,
ministers.
if a family court in Iagok GRA has now ordered a skip maker, remember the Trinity guy we talked about, and the father and mother, the parents of the particular
child,
main act,
the child,
of the child, they are all remanded in Agodi for their involvement in all this.
Right, that's what it is.
And on that note,
a big shout out to Governor Bago of Niger State for doing what he has done with security. We're watching all these states.
Okay, so on that note, that is all we're able to take today on the Boombar. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Bar. Do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead. Peace.